So this will live stream not only to the Facebook page, but also on the YouTube channel too. Today, yeah. And then
It is live
when
streaming
the
now.
actual podcast drops, that the video will be housed on the YouTube channel permanently. So that's where like the video side of it lives. And then obviously the audio podcast is kind of all over the place.
Cool.
Yeah. You ready, Rob?
We are ready to rock and roll. It is currently live, so if you wanted to share it with your following, you can go on Facebook and share it out. Yep, you can share it right now. First,
Yeah. Just go to the Facebook page, the
I feel
Tampa
fancy
Bay
just
Producers
holding
page.
this
Fancy purse, fancy shoes, fancy lady.
Share this with.
You'll have to go to the page first probably.
Yep, so you go to
Bureau Producers.
Yep.
And then you should see it. It'll say going live with Jennifer Cook.
Cool.
And you can just kind of share it from there. Is there anything that you want to make sure that we do talk about, Jen, or don't?
Can talk about the HIA property management, the management division.
Yeah.
We have a referral program for realtors to refer us owners that are looking for property management.
Okay. It's called Bahia Property Management.
Yep. And that's my other company. There we go, going live with Jennifer Cook. Okay, so now.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Tampa Bay Real Producers Podcast. This, of course, is the podcast that is made for real producers, by real producers, and with none other than Tampa Bay's real producers, and also powered by Top Producers Nation, helping agents all over the country become top producers in their desired markets. And today we get to hang out with Jen Cook. How are you, Jen?
Hi, Don. I am doing fantastic. How are you?
Good to have you here. Yeah, no doubt. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Some of you might recognize Jen as our March featured agent in our Tampa Bay Real Producers magazine. We did an article recently on Jen and Bahia.
Yes,
Bahia, right. I had that right.
International Realty.
Bahia International Realty. Yes. Like I said, Jen was featured as our March featured agent. And so her story was in there. And what I love about the podcast is we get to dive in a little bit deeper than what the magazine article sometimes allows us to do. And so that we start there. So for people who might not have had a chance to check out the article yet or be able to, read through that yet, why don't we start a little bit with just your background and, did you grow up in this area? If not, what brought you to Tampa Bay?
Sure.
And how did you get interested in real estate?
Sure. Actually, it was quite interesting because I was never going to sell real estate.
You were going to be a teacher,
That was not
right?
on my plan. Yeah, I was going to be a teacher. And actually, I need to clarify that because my brother gave me a hard time because he's an actual teacher. And
he's an actual
teacher.
He's
an actual teacher.
Yes.
And has taught all over the world. And so when I graduated college, I got invited to join a school, an English language school. And I had signed the contract to start teaching. And then my, my boyfriend at the time, Ricardo, who's now my business partner and my ex-husband, which is interesting.
Nice.
But he decided, let's go to Tampa and do real estate. Mm-hmm. And I had never done real estate. I had never done sales. I was planning on teaching. And then we just
Why
left.
Tampa?
We left. He actually looked up the market. And it showed that Tampa was really kind of in transition at that point in time. That was, 2002?
Okay.
And so he said, you know what, let's just go to Tampa and do real estate.
And you were in Colorado at the time?
I was in Colorado.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that
Most
where
of
you
my
grew
family,
up? Is
I grew up
your
in
roots are
Colorado.
there?
Yep.
Denver or what part?
Denver. Go Nuggets, even though I'm not really a sports fan.
Hey, this is the time.
I just had to throw that out there.
Are you a Joker fan?
No.
They won the championship last year, and they're going at it again this year. So
I know.
I have a buddy who lived out there. He's not there anymore, but I spent about a week out there a couple of years back, and I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah,
Red Rocks and everything that
Red
Denver
Rocks
has to offer.
And the mountains.
Yeah.
And,
pretty out there.
I loved growing up there. I really did, but I did not utilize the mountains as much as I think I should have. I mean,
You
it's
skier?
embarrassing. Well, no, this is embarrassing. I'm a Denver native, and I've never learned to ski. Never. Ever.
It's amazing that you're willing to admit that.
I know, especially on live.
Yeah, I tell you,
But,
that's a
yeah.
way of life up there. Is a ski.
It is.
And I'm not really a skier either. I went one time in my whole life, and I wrote a story about how I embarrassed myself, and I was like 12 years old. But this was fun. I grew up in Connecticut, but out there, it's like the way of life for sure.
It is.
So you're more of the beach lifestyle. Tampa's more your calling, huh?
Well, I love Tampa because it's just so diverse and it's so eclectic, and the fact that you can get to different locations so quickly. Mm-hmm. So like you can go from cosmopolitan downtown Tampa to really eclectic, St. Pete, ground roots type of granola area. Then you go up to Tarpon Springs and you can do this in like 20, 30 minutes. I mean, it's so cool. The beaches are beautiful. So
Now, do you live in Clearwater?
I do.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Is that where you came when you came down in 2002, or have you guys moved there since?
No. We found an apartment online. I was going to finish with that story, but we found an apartment online, and it was actually Foxcroft Apartments right there on Dale Mabry, and we were in real estate school the day we arrived.
Gotcha. So the plan from the get-go was to come to Tampa, get into real estate.
Yep.
And so tell us a little bit about how that got rolling. Did you guys, get off to a fast start? Did it take a while to get some traction? What was that first year like?
Well, it was interesting because we basically got into real estate in the beginning to be investors.
Okay.
So we started by flipping homes.
Okay.
So I joined what used to be Coolidge Realty. And that Jim Coolidge, God rest his soul, he was an amazing, amazing leader, amazing broker at that point in time. And I learned so much from him. But he's been long gone now. But he basically taught me. he taught me how to do real estate.
Okay.
Because, the real estate school, it only teaches you so much.
Yeah, it's more like contracts.
You really
and stuff,
have to, really have to get out there and actually start, communicating with people and start wheeling and dealing. And so he did that for me. So then,
so you became a licensed agent so that you would have access to the MLS to find distressed property. Was that the focus? Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense.
So we ended up flipping some properties. There were some in, I remember one off of Lake Road, somewhere down in, now I can't remember, but it had a basement.
Oh, wow.
You
don't see that in Florida very often. Yeah.
This house was purple. It was purple when we bought it, and it had a basement, and we ended up, renovating it and flipping it, and that was fun.
It's like they just transplanted it from the Northeast and just stuck it in Florida.
Yeah, but it had a basement. I had no idea that Florida homes could have a basement.
No, neither did I. Think that's a unicorn. That's
a
unicorn. Yeah. So how many homes did you flip your first year? Do you remember?
Oh boy, this was a long time ago, Don. Well, let's see. I can think of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 5 off the top of my head.
Okay. Now, were you focused on the investment side for many years, or how long?
No. I was always wanting to get into general real estate.
Yep.
Ricardo was going to be the flipper and investor, and then he decided to get his broker's license and open up Bahia. But keep in mind, I was still with Coolidge because I did not want to work with my soon-to-be husband.
Right.
So then finally he asked me after a few years. I was doing well with Coolidge Realty. I was a top producer over there, and he said, "You know what? You should join Bahia." And I said, I don't know if I can work with you.
So that Bahia was started by
Bahia
Ricardo?
was started by Ricardo.
Okay.
And then
what year was that, do you know?
Oh gosh, that was probably, I want to say 2003.
Okay.
Yeah, 2003.
So not that long after you got down here.
No, it was pretty immediate. And then we also had a mortgage company back then. It was Premier Mortgage.
Was he recruiting agents?
He was recruiting agents.
Yeah. And then he finally won you over, huh?
He finally won me over. Yep.
And so when you did come over, did your focus start focusing on like typical retail residential real estate, or were you still focused on the investment world?
We were doing both.
Yeah.
So we were definitely focusing on, residential general real estate.
Yep.
But then we were also doing the flipping.
Okay.
But we didn't really continue the flipping very much just because the market changed.
Yep.
And so at that point in time, we had to kind of pivot.
Yep.
So then in the meantime, also, we had to bring my former father-in-law from Venezuela. He was here on political asylum, so we brought him into the company. So he lives in Orlando, so we opened an Orlando office.
Okay.
So we had Bahia Tampa and Bahia Orlando. And then just recently, within the last 5-7 years, we opened up Bahia Miami.
Okay.
So we actually have 3 offices:
And
Tampa,
still to this day.
Orlando, and Miami.
Okay. And Ricardo is still owner of the 3 locations?
Yep, Ricardo, Raul, and myself.
Okay, very cool. So you didn't have a network here, it sounds like, when you came down from Tampa. You didn't really know anybody in this market and just kind of dove in and figured it out. So what was that like for you in terms of trying to get things off the ground? What were some strategies that you used that worked for you to be able to build your community and build your pipeline and start to get things flowing? What was that like for you?
Well, in the very beginning, that was fun. I mean, I would do, I would sell the properties that we would flip. So I would host open houses. Back in the day, gosh, I went to different restaurants and I would post flyers and and it was kind of terrifying. Yeah, I mean, you do have to put in the grunt work in order to really build the pipeline. And building the pipeline is the most important thing in real estate.
Yep.
If you don't have that and you don't have a community, it's really hard to get started.
Totally.
But once you have that, then you're golden.
Was there a specific strategy that you feel like really took off for you or worked the best?
No, I mean, I networked a lot also. I was a part of Tampa Bay Business Group, and I was a part of a lot of different chambers back then. And so I think that really helped me in the beginning to just get out there.
Yep.
But, I mean, that's what I would tell to new agents or even agents that are experienced and want to be top producers. You just have to get out there.
No doubt. You still got to get out of your comfort zone and figure out what your community is, right?
Exactly.
And if you don't know, it makes sense to kind of join as many different things as you can and figure out where that niche is going to be that you can serve best, I would imagine, right? Now, when you were doing these different, like when you were joining the chambers and getting involved, was your intent to try to find people that, were on the investment side that maybe that were willing to sell their home for a discount or distressed property type situations, which is, I think, how most investors think, right?
Yeah.
Comparing that to just, people who just want to list their home normal as a retail price. And did it not matter to you, or did you have a focus one way or the other?
I did not have a focus. I just wanted to sell real estate.
Anybody who was willing to sell the home, right?
Anybody who was willing. And it's kind of funny because I ended up meeting an investor. I called on a for sale by owner sign. And this was, I was green in real estate by then. And then the guy called me back and he said, you are the only realtor that actually called me to ask me about my home. I want to interview you. So I interviewed with him and we hit it off great. And that year, we ended up selling like 60, 70 homes together.
That's awesome.
So,
is he still in your network?
He is, but he's no longer in Tampa.
Flipping. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He now moved up to Georgia. How dare him?
Is most of your focus Tampa Bay, Jen, or do you also serve Orlando and Miami as well personally?
I focus mainly in Tampa, but I will go up to Orlando and I do go down to Miami.
Okay.
If I have to.
And most of your buyers and stuff are in this market. Most of your network is in this market.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So when the brokerage, when Ricardo started the brokerage with Bahia, I know you're a part owner of the brokerage as well, it sounds like, right?
Correct.
So did your responsibilities at all change, or did you stay focused on kind of like operating as an agent, or were you also thinking more as a broker and recruitment and all the functions that brokers have to deal with, right, and operate? Do you deal in that world at all, or is that more on Ricardo's side?
A little bit, but it's more on Ricardo's side
because
I really wanted to just generate revenue for the company.
Sure.
But I also
Somebody
have
has
gotten
to.
into
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, but I have gotten into helping the agents. I'm actually the only one that's really sold real estate because Ricardo and Raul really don't have the experience selling real estate the way I do, but they are amazing when it comes to marketing and just back end business.
Yep.
So it's kind of like a trifecta the way we were.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I would basically still meet with the agents. I would train a little bit, and I would help them out if they had any contract questions. I would help them out. And keep in mind, most of our agents are Spanish speaking. I speak Spanish as well.
Nice.
So that's kind
People
of been our
wouldn't think
focus.
that, I think, by looking at you.
No,
the red hair,
nobody,
it throws people off.
I know. Well, it's red. It's red right now, but I'm a natural blonde. So whatever.
So do you still do that? Are you still working with the agents on these teams? And
I am. I do help the agents whenever I can.
How many agents do you guys have now? Do you know?
Right now we have, let's see, I'm thinking we've got about 7 in Miami. We've got about 4 in Orlando. And then really there's only 3 or 4. Actually 4 in Tampa.
So they're not like actively trying to grow mega teams and big teams. It sounds like you're a little bit specific on who you look for when you bring them on.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What's some of that criteria look like? Do you know?
Well, we have to find somebody that's, a go-getter, somebody that's really, really eager and also eager to learn as well. Yeah. Because we're a little bit different because we provide leads to our agents. So when they come over, they don't have to do any marketing. They don't have to do anything. All they have to do is just be available and be closers.
Okay.
That's basically what we're looking for.
That makes sense. So if somebody feels like they're a confident closer and they're looking for a place, they at least can have a conversation, right?
Absolutely.
And the leads are generated through Ricardo and the back end, whatever the program is.
The back end, and we have a very strong presence on the internet, our website. So, but yeah, he's the software engineer by trade.
Makes sense.
So he can optimize that website like no other.
Makes sense.
So he generates the leads that way.
And is that where you get your personal leads too, or do you do a lot of self-generation as well?
I do both.
Yeah.
I do both. I've gotten a lot, of course, from Bahia and built up, a pipeline and just a referral base from Bahia. But then I also have my own.
Makes sense. What do you find the most fulfilling about the real estate career now that you've built? Thinking about back when you were going to be a teacher and everything that you now can look back upon as your journey with this real estate career over 20 years now. What's most fulfilling about it for you?
For me, I mean, I have always loved helping people in any way I could. So as a teacher, I was definitely, that was my passion, was helping people. And I see how in real estate I can help people. And it's also kind of like teaching them in a way too, because you have to be a guide.
Yeah.
And another thing is just talking to people, getting to know people, communicating with people. I mean, that's what I love about this business, is meeting new people, figuring out, you know, what their needs and wants are, and then boom, going and finding it.
Yeah.
And that emotion that's involved. I mean, I get excited. I still get really excited, even though being in the business for so long, I still get excited when I have a first-time home buyer, or when I, you know, sell $1 million home. It's like, it's still super exciting to me, every single transaction. And then on top of that, it's just, I think I've mentioned this in the article, I like dealing with difficult people.
Difficult people or difficult situations, or both?
Both.
Both, yeah.
I like being a problem solver. And I see in this business that I'm having to be a problem solver all the time.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's funny because
But
there's
I
a lot of
enjoy it.
agents out there, almost, especially I would say maybe some of the inexperienced ones who cause problems occasionally,
Correct.
rather than being the solution, right?
Correct.
To when a situation comes up.
Yep.
And I think that, in my opinion, can kind of distinguish the good agents from everybody else, right? That's out there, is that ability to actually be a problem solver. Because if you've been in this game long enough, you kind of realize there's always certain things that can pop up that you just always have to be prepared for anything, right?
You never know what to expect in
Right.
this business.
Yeah,
You can
absolutely.
learn something new every day.
And that mindset that you're always going to find a solution and a way to make it work.
Yep.
Such an important, I think, mindset for a great agent to have, because you're buyer or seller, it's their first time probably going through the challenge, but you have to portray that, you know, you can make it work. You've handled these before. There's nothing that's going to surprise you, right?
Exactly.
So it makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
In your experience now as an agent, is there anything that stands out to you as some of the biggest challenges that you've had to deal with in real estate, whether this is on a transaction basis or just in the industry as a whole? Anything that you still think is, you know, that you find as a challenge in the industry?
You know, it's funny because a lot of people are talking about the whole NAR, you know, getting rid of buyer's agents
Sure.
things and stuff like that. But to tell you the truth, I'm not afraid. I'm not worried. I think that the strong are going to survive. I've seen this happen
always do.
before. Yep, I've seen this happen before. So I think a lot of the challenge with that is not going to be as bad as everybody's thinking it's going to be.
Sure.
And then on top of that, I like challenges. So whatever challenge comes my way, I'm like, bring it, you know?
That's a mindset.
So really, I don't see anything kind of in my way or any type of barrier. I'm just going to push through.
Nice. What gets you excited when you think about the future, rest of this year, next year, beyond? Like, what's the vision look like for where Jen Cook wants to take things?
I'm going to be doing something different.
Yeah.
And yeah, I may have to do a future podcast to be able to tell you
Nice.
what's going on.
Nice. So is it already in the works?
It's in the works, and it's gonna be different. It's gonna be.
It's secretive right now. You
It's
can't talk about
secretive
it yet.
right now. Can't talk about it right now, but I am excited, and things are going to be changing for the better.
It's still in real estate or no?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, absolutely.
So related
No,
to
I'm
real
gonna be-
estate.
I'm going to be in real estate for like, God, I'll be one of those 80 or 90-year-olds being like, yeah,
I'm still in the game.
back in the day.
Yeah, still in the game.
Still in the game.
Well, you spilled a little bit of the secret. So something media related, maybe like with a podcast or something, or you meant you'd have to come back here to talk about it on another podcast.
That's what I'm saying.
I got you.
I'll have
I
to
got
come
you.
back and talk to
I
you
got you.
about
I got
that
you.
one.
Well, there's something big out there, people, that Jen is excited about, and we will find out what it is one day. All right, one day we'll have her back on the podcast. But so keep following her. You know, she'll keep you guessing, keep you excited about where the future is heading here. Let's talk about some of the personal side for people who, again, maybe don't know you that well yet.
Sure.
I think it is somewhat fascinating that your business partner was your ex-husband, right? And you guys still work together, it sounds like, right? Hopefully well, right? And everything seems to be going well. Business seems to be doing well and growing. And so now, are you married now?
I am.
You're married, okay?
Yep.
Is this person in real estate as well? Was this someone else?
He is not. He's
not.
he's in technology. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But he actually has worked on our website. So, I mean, we're kind of one big happy.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's actually very
They get along well too?
They
the
do.
ex and there you go. Mm-hmm. So he does, and he works in your business a little bit or no?
Not
Your current
really.
husband. Okay.
Not really. I mean, he helps when he can, but
Gotcha.
yeah.
Do you guys have kids?
We have one. Well, actually, I have one.
You have one?
He's a 17-year-old boy.
Was that with your ex-husband?
And that was with Ricardo.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And what is he into now? Is 17? He's about to graduate soon, or
Don't get me started on this.
excited about real estate himself, or not yet?
No real estate. He likes to fish.
There you
He wants
go.
to find a
Can't blame him for
career
that.
where he can
Nice
fish
and relaxing.
all day, all day, all night. That's
Well, there
what he
are
wants to
professional
do.
fishermen out there, Jen.
There are professional fishermen, but he actually wants to He wants to build a fishing charter.
Okay.
So if anybody out there has any, ideas of how I can get him to maybe intern with a captain, let me know.
Interesting.
Because that's
Okay.
what he wants to do. Yeah.
When I was before starting Real Producers, I used to run Snell Isle Living. It was a franchise for the residents over in Snell Isle in St. Petersburg.
Sure.
And one of our clients, we called him Captain Dave. I can't remember his last name now, but he runs like a fishing charter, sailing boats, and not just fishing charters, but I know that they do like fishing boats too, over in that St. Pete Marina area. They were there. I want to say it was called Sailing Florida Charters or something like that was the name of the business. But
Okay.
yeah, I can send you his number. You guys can maybe connect if
That
it
would be fantastic.
yeah.
'Cause-
Dave, I want to say it was Ammon now that I think about it. AMANN, something like that, but I might be able to find that for you.
Okay. That'd be
Who knows?
awesome.
Who knows? So what do you guys love to do for fun? What keeps you busy when you're not jamming in real estate?
Well, my husband is a workaholic, and I'm kind of a workaholic as well, but I go dancing.
You're a dancer.
I'm a dancer.
Okay.
I go salsa dancing. I go West Coast swing dancing. I do East Coast swing dancing.
Wow.
I've always been a dancer. I mean, since even before like high school.
Nice.
I've always wanted to dance, and so
Who do you dance
that's
with?
my
Does your
social
husband go with
outlet.
you?
He used to. We actually met on the dance floor.
Nice.
Believe it or not, but now he doesn't dance anymore.
Do you
Maybe
have
someday.
do you have a dance partner?
Nope.
You know?
Nope. I just go
whoever's
social
willing
dancing.
that day, huh?
Whoever's there. I get my girlfriends together. We all go, and it is so much fun.
So did you like grow up in like dance studios or academies or anything
Nope.
like that? Never, huh? Just
No,
enjoy it.
I just enjoy it, and
Okay.
I've always been a social dancer.
Nice.
I mean, I did some competition with West Coast Swing
Yeah.
in the past, but I got out of the competition area because
Yeah.
it was a little too much.
My wife has a little bit of a background with that.
Does she?
Not swing dancing necessarily, but she grew up dancing and teaching in the dance academies, and and now she's got our little girls doing the same thing. So
that's
My
exciting.
daughter just has an upcoming. Her big dance recital actually is next weekend.
Oh, that's super fun.
Have you heard of the All American Dance Academy on Dale Mabry?
Yeah.
So that's where they go.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Apparently, it's got a good reputation, I hear, in the area. So they've had a couple of Tampa Bay Buccaneers cheerleaders come out of there, and some of them actually come back and teach some of the classes and whatnot. So yeah,
Nice.
I guess so. They enjoy it. That's
Yeah.
been my exposure to the dance community, though, has been through my daughters and my wife for sure.
Yeah.
She used to dance for the New York Jets actually up in Connecticut.
Oh,
when
cool.
we lived up there. So
Very
yeah,
cool.
very neat. So
Nice.
anything else other than the dance community that keeps you busy?
Let's see, dance. I mean, honestly, I don't have a lot of time.
Right, you're working too hard.
I'm working so much.
One of the things I wanted to ask you about too is we
Yeah.
every month, you might have noticed in our magazine, we do this section called Making a Difference, which is generally spotlighting like nonprofits and different affiliations and stuff of that nature. And so sometimes I'm able to ask some of the people we have on, like, are there any causes like that are important to you that you guys support or you're involved with that you'd wanted to throw a little spotlight in?
Yeah, I mean, I can throw it in. Human trafficking has been something that I've been obviously an advocate for a long time. And so,
Hopefully against.
well, an advocate against. Sorry.
We all knew what you meant. Yes. It's funny, too,
Against.
because that's our company actually is very involved with that as well.
Yeah.
The parent
Yeah.
company with our franchise, the franchise for Real Producers is owned by a company called N2.
Okay.
And they have 4 different product lines. Real Producers is one of them.
Yeah.
And they donate, I think historically now they've donated over $12 million to fight human trafficking
That's great.
with like 4 or 5 different organizations across the country.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So the stories
yeah, I
are
mean,
so sad.
They're so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They come and talk actually at our conference every year and just give us updates on how our donations have made an impact and the lives that it's been saved. And so it's always, inspiring to see that we're actually making a difference with what we're doing just from a working standpoint.
Exactly.
But then you still realize how much more there is to go because it's a scary world out there for some people.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah. How did you get started with that, or why did that, how did that land with you?
I just, I was doing some research just online, and then I came across just, I think it was a website at some point. I don't remember exactly what it was, but then it was a website talking about what the human trafficking is and what's happening, and most of them are little girls, and it's all over the world. And I was thinking, geez, how can we put a stop to this? It's
crazy.
This is crazy.
Yep.
So I've been involved with making donations and that kind of thing. There's Clearwater. There's like a coalition against human trafficking.
Nice.
So I've been participating with that.
Yeah, there's a ton of local organizations that do it. A lot of them aren't very well known, but there's a lot of people who struggle to try to get the funding that it's needed to be able to try to make a real difference, in that space. But it's definitely a cause worth fighting for. That's for sure. Before we go through a couple more things on the personal questions, I usually ask some rapid fire questions for people to get to know you a little bit more. I know I wanted to mention the property management side too of your business.
Yes.
And so you were mentioning before that you guys have a referral program, I believe,
we do.
For Bahia Property Management, right?
Yep.
So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Yeah, we actually have a referral program for other realtors outside of Bahia that bring their owners to Bahia Property Management. We can pay up to a $600 referral fee, and we also right now we're waiving the first month of maintenance fees for anybody that refers us.
Okay.
Then on top of that, we also honor the fact that these people are coming from different agencies, and we will, if they're interested in selling, we will send them back.
Okay.
So
you're not poaching the clients.
We are not poaching the clients. No.
Do you guys work with a good amount of other agents that already take advantage of that, or
we do actually. We have a lot of agents that do that, and then we also have referral, like the rental agents from different companies, and they also work with us. So
Makes sense.
We work with a bunch of different agencies.
Is it all like typical long-term rental management, property
Yes.
management? Do you guys deal with any short-term management stuff?
No.
Okay.
Nothing in short term yet. We were considering that a few years ago, but I'm glad we didn't.
Yeah.
But long-term property management. So if anybody has an owner that is interested in renting their property, then they can definitely reach out to us.
And that's
We'll be happy
managed
to help.
in-house through
Correct.
through Bahia, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Very cool.
And we have a whole management team, so we're happy to take on that client.
Now, does Bahia also still have the mortgage side and the things you mentioned before, or is it?
We do not. We have the
so
mortgage.
it's property management
Yep, property
management and real estate.
Real estate. Yep. And we do residential and commercial.
Got it. So it's commercial as well. Mm-hmm. Cool. Have you dabbled in that side too?
I have. I don't like it as much.
Yeah. Not quite as like
It's
homey
not-
and personal, right?
Yeah, it's not as fun.
More about numbers.
Honestly, it is.
Yeah.
It is. But I have, and I would,
Yeah.
if I have to. But I would rather not. I'd rather stick to general
I got you.
homes, dream
right.
homes for people.
A couple rapid fire questions for you as we start to put a bow here on the episode for people. So,
Okay.
do you have a favorite book, Jen, or a seminar, author maybe, that, or even a podcast, I guess, that you feel like has made an impact on you personally or professionally?
Well, I'll tell you, Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone is awesome,
Yep.
first of all. And the 10X rule is actually on my my nightstand.
Okay.
So
Good place as a reminder.
Yeah. I'm not really having time to read it, but it's sitting on my nightstand.
Hopefully, subliminally, the messaging is just getting through as you're sleeping.
Yeah, so I've been listening to a lot of Grant Cardone and just, changing the mindset and really thinking big. Mm-hmm. And I went to the 10X convention in Miami, I think it was 4 years ago.
Nice.
And it was tremendous.
Yep.
So anybody that can go to a 10X.
He's inspiring.
He's inspiring.
Yeah.
Have you gone to a 10X?
I have not gone to a 10X. I've read his book, and I have listened to a lot of his content online.
Okay.
I actually was at a conference once where his wife was there, Elena on the panel. They had different panels going on, and she was there, and I was very impressed by even her. She talked about business, but she also talked about their personal lives, and there was a balance of both. So I liked I liked her stance on, in her opinion, on how she balances family with the empire, that they've been able to build. But yeah, I mean, his content is solid for sure. Definitely. I like that he's still actually doing deals and he's not just a guru teaching, but he's got that Cardone Capital. I'm sure you're familiar with it.
I'm an investor.
You are, yeah. So that's, anybody can do that. Check it out online if you want to, but it's just cardonecapital.com, I believe. But seems like they've built up a pretty solid fund there. To be able to do syndication type deals.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I own a fraction of one of them in Fort Lauderdale.
Makes sense. Yeah, his headquarters is down there, right? Like Fort Lauderdale or Miami area.
In Miami.
Right.
Yeah, the headquarters.
Cool.
But yeah, I've always loved Grant Cardone.
Yeah, his content's solid. There's no doubt. He knows what he's and I think I heard somewhere that like he's put out more social media content. I don't know if it's than anybody, but there was some stat or something I saw where like the amount of video content that he pounds out is like supposedly one of the top posters in all of social media, right?
I would not
Something
be surprised at all.
Which,
not at all.
That's impressive too, just to think about how many people are out there that are putting out content. The amount of stuff that he puts out there is, there's no shortage of it.
Yep.
That's for
Absolutely.
sure. So cool. Do you have a favorite movie or TV show?
Oh, no.
Nothing come to mind, huh?
Who
has time?
Who has time to watch TV?
Yeah.
No, actually, I do watch TV, but it's usually at night, and yeah, I just kind of watch whatever's on.
Right.
You
mentioned the Nuggets earlier. Are you a sports fan?
No.
No. Okay.
I just mentioned the Nuggets. They did well.
Because it's
the
Denver.
Other day. It's Denver.
I got you. The roots are there. Do you have a favorite food?
Favorite food? God, I love food. I'm a major foodie.
Okay.
So I will try anything once. That's
Do you
kind
have
of my
anything
motto.
stand out?
No.
All right.
Because I love everything.
Clearwater has a ton of great restaurants too, though, out in that area.
Clearwater, Dunedin, Safety Harbor.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Dunedin too. That whole downtown area is kind of neat.
Yeah.
It's got that, being from the Northeast, like the towns up there have a different feel to them than most areas in Florida or other Southeast areas. But Dunedin to me has kind of like a Northeast town type vibe.
Does it?
So it does, yeah.
Oh,
I think
that's
just
cool.
walking around, it's got a towny type feel to it,
It does, yeah.
A lot of local business shops and that kind of thing, and there are a lot of great local restaurants
Yes.
that are in that area, so it is neat. Have you sold some real estate over there too, I take it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure. We had an event once at the Fenway over there.
That would be so cool.
It's a cool spot. Sunset up there is one of the best, I think, in all of Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
it's pretty.
I had a birthday up there, actually during COVID. I had a birthday at the Funway up on the top, and it was sunset, and it was perfect.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's beautiful.
It is a cool little spot for sure. All right, so this is what I would call the legacy question, Jen. All right, so it gets you to think a little bit about what matters most, right, to you. And when you think about that day that you'll be sitting on your rocking chair when you're 80 or 90, as you said, it's still in the business, of course, as you said.
Of course.
But you're thinking back to what you'd want to be most remembered for. What do you think matters most to you? What type of legacy do you think you'd want to leave?
Oh, boy. Wow. A legacy. I mean, honestly, again, it comes back to helping people. And I want to serve, I don't know how many people I've actually served up to this point, but I've served a lot of people, but I just want to be able to help people, find their dream homes for forever.
Do you find that a good percentage of your business is through your current client base, like just repeat customers?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we also have new people coming in all the time.
For sure. Yeah, and it sounds like you do a pretty good job of the lead gen side too on the back end and making sure that that's the case.
Yep.
Is there anything you guys do to kind of maintain those relationships with the existing customers to try to facilitate multiple deals? Or does that just kind of happen naturally?
It kind of happens naturally, but at the same time, we have email campaigns and we have different campaigns that go out. so that we keep in touch with these people. Because I've kept in touch with people over 10 years before they've actually bought.
Yeah, it's a
before,
cycle.
You know,
You got to keep it.
you just got to
keep in front of them.
Keep right in front of them.
No
That's
doubt.
That's the whole key.
Very cool.
Yep.
So if someone wanted to reach out to you, Jen, whether it be regarding, your experience in the investment world, obviously you've built a good business, a healthy business from a standpoint of just typical retail, residential real estate. You also have your experience with the brokerage and how you guys have built Bahia, the property management side with the agent referrals. So there's a lot of different facets there that we've talked about a little bit here today on the show. But if someone wanted to pick your brain, or even if an agent just wanted to reach out to you guys about the referral program that you mentioned, on the referral side, what's the best way for someone to do that?
Best way to reach me is my phone number, which is 813-810-7454. And my email address is Jen, Jenn, at cook.com. And then that's probably the best way. And then you can find me on Facebook at Jen-Ciotti, Ciotti. I had to throw that in there because my husband gives me a hard time about not changing my name after we got married. So I am Jen Cook Ciotti on Facebook.
I don't think we had that in the magazine, did we?
No, you didn't.
Cook,
it was
right?
just Jen Cook.
Yeah, there you go.
But anyways, Jen Cook Ciotti on Facebook. And then I'll be actually creating a TikTok, and I'll be creating more Instagram, and I'll be creating a lot more media.
Social media content is coming out.
Media content is going to be
There's something
coming
big
out
happening in the works. There's something
soon.
brewing, Jen.
Something's happening.
Well, that's
exciting.
neat. We'll put some of that stuff too up on the description when we get your episode here dropped. And we're gonna end the episode the way we do really with every episode, which is with a challenge to the audience. And the idea is that if you are watching live through any of our platforms, or you're listening to this through any of your favorite podcast platforms, by the way, if you haven't already subscribed to our podcast, just click the button, and that way every time we have a new episode, which like the one we just did with Jen, we drop a new episode every week, every Friday. You can be notified of those episodes if you follow us or you subscribe. So if you click that, if you find that the content is helpful and helping you hear and learn from the top producers, that's how you will be notified of more episodes to come. But we always encourage you to take action, right? Do something that's going to move you forward personally or professionally based on the conversation even that Jen and I, just had today. Maybe you're somebody who just needs to reach out about the property management side and are interested in having a couple of clients that you can get some referrals fees on, and you have some investors you're working with that are looking for a good property manager. Well, Jen, and her team might be worth a conversation there, right? Or there's something else about our conversation today that sparked an interest. Maybe you got to look more into the Grant Cardone, capital investments or some of the other things that we talked about. But there's always something, right, that you can do to take action so that whatever you were thinking about while we were talking doesn't go to waste. And if you do that, then you're taking steps forward in the right direction. And that's the point of why we do these podcasts in the first place. So we will see you, of course, on the next episode of the Tampa Bay Real Producers Podcast, powered by Top Producers Nation. And we'll see you there. Later.
What's going on, everybody? This is Bowtie Bobby Pellini with eXp Realty and Team Borum. We are here now at International Mall in Tampa, Florida at the Whiskey Cake with the Tampa Bay Real Producers. And I'm so excited. I've just finished a great panel talking about consistency. Consistency in your business, your actions, your referrals, your income. And I'm loving being here with the Tampa Bay Real Producers because what they stand for. They represent value. Value to the industry, value to the agent, and value to the homeowner and the customer, the buyer. And that's what we're all here for.